Hey, it's Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. You're listening to Prosper with Keith Singer. Don't turn that radio off. We've got good info for you.
This is Prosper with Keith Singer. I'm Bruce Steinbrock. Reach out to Keith and the Singer Wealth Advisors at 866-WEALTHY. That's 866-WEALTHY. Keith is an attorney, a certified financial planner, and is the owner of Singer Wealth Advisors. Keith, you've got a special guest with you today, Gary Lesser, another attorney joining you, and I'll just hand it over to you, and you and Gary can share your knowledge here with our Prosper audience.
All right, so we have a special guest calling in, my friend Gary Lesser. Gary is an attorney. We actually went to law school together at the University of Miami. We graduated together back in 1992, and I wanted to share some of his insight with some of our listeners so that you can make smart choices in the event that you ever needed an attorney. Gary, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing today, Keith?
Doing great. So, Gary, you are the president or the former president of the Florida Bar?
Yeah, now I'm the past president. So that's relatively new. I just finished serving as president of the Florida Bar.
How many lawyers are there?
In Florida, there is a little over 100,000, 106,000 lawyers in Florida, and a little under 100,000 are full-time, active, licensed to practice law in the state of Florida.
And they elected you to be their president?
That is correct.
Yeah, I voted for you, so I'm glad you won. So what were some of the initiatives you were trying to do when you were the president?
Well, there was, I'd say, three major initiatives. The one that we really focused the most on was the creation of a new mentoring program. The law is unique in any profession or trade, that we don't have an internship. We don't have an apprenticeship. You graduate from law school and good luck to you.
Right.
And the challenge with that is anywhere but 15% or so of law school graduates graduate without a job, outside employment. So they throw up their own shingle and they go to work on their own, and that's fine. Lawyers have been doing that for years. But the challenge now is, especially in the age of COVID, when hearings are virtual and a lot of the practice of law has become virtual, the ability to meet mentors and more experienced lawyers who can help you, well, that's really declined a great deal. And we all know that a mentor can be so important, not in the law, but also in every field. So we created a mentorship program for lawyers 3 years or less and firms of 3 or fewer lawyers to pair them up with a more experienced lawyer. And that's for the entire Florida Bar.
Got it. So that's very important. I think they're throwing lawyers out there and they don't really have that internship or that training to actually know how to practice law. It is a challenge. That's a great initiative. What else are you guys working on?
We worked on a long-standing problem called greater access to legal services. And the fact of the matter is that for the public's perception, and to some degree this is true, legal services are not accessible or so affordable. You know, if you have a ton of money or you're a corporation, you can go to a big law firm. And if you meet certain, income lower levels, you can go to legal services if they're properly funded or staffed. But if you're a regular working person, it's hard to get a lawyer. So we had a special committee on greater access to legal services appointed by former Florida Bar President Michael Tanner and myself. We had a final report that we issued to the Supreme Court of Florida, and we met with the court. We had some recommendations, including greater funding and greater ability to publicize the availability of legal aid. We recommended that you could become a certified legal intern after 1 year of law school instead of 2. And we recommended greater publicizing legal service plans.
So tell us about what kind of law you specialize in.
I do personal injury and trial work, and we're a 10-lawyer firm. We're based in West Palm Beach, but we handle cases all over Florida. Between the total of 10 lawyers at the firm, we have over 300 years of experience, including board-certified trial lawyers. We do no billboard or TV advertising. All of our work comes to us by referral and recommendation. So we have lawyers who actually meet with, spend time with our clients, and we push their cases forward.
So you help people if they were injured in an accident or if a doctor is malpractice and they're hurt, then they come to you and you help them recover for their injuries. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, we try to sum it up by saying if someone has been hurt by the fault or negligence of a third party, so that can be a car accident, a fall case, a defective product, negligent security, if someone has done something wrong and it causes somebody injury, Well, those are the folks that we try to help.
So that's a very important decision, I would imagine, because there's a lot of money at stake. And if you make the wrong decision, you could wind up recovering a lot less money than if you make the right decision. Do people ever try to negotiate with insurance companies on their own?
Yeah, I mean, I used to, a long, long time ago, do work for insurance companies in risk mitigation. And risk mitigation means that after a claim has happened, or claims mitigation, you talk to the uninsured person. In fact, you try to not get them to hire a lawyer. And there are sometimes people who try to handle it on their own. My dad used to say you could probably pull your own tooth, but it's a better idea for the dentist to do it. It'll work out better.
Right.
And it's a funny line, but the fact of the matter is a non-represented person has no idea what their case value is worth. So they often settle for a fifth, a 10th, a 20th of the actual case value.
Well, it's a very important decision. If you've been injured and you want a lawyer with over 30 years of experience who's obviously respected enough by his peers to be voted their president, you might want to get in touch with Gary Lesser. He can help you. You can get in touch with him by texting the word lawyer to 954-462-3300. Text the word lawyer to 954-462-3300. So, Gary, my understanding is if someone hires you because they've been injured, they don't owe you anything. They don't have to give you any money. And it's a contingent fee arrangement, which means that if you don't recover for them, they don't owe you anything. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, you'll see these billboards that say no fee guarantee. But the reality is the Supreme Court of Florida has set how these cases are worked. And it's all contingent fee. And if the lawyer doesn't win, then the client doesn't owe anything for fees or costs. It's a standard fee agreement. The important thing is the lawyer that gets hired should explain the fee agreement to the client, how cases work, and what to expect going forward.
So it's pretty much the same contract. Whoever you hire as an attorney to represent you is going to get paid a percentage of what they recover. And the better attorney that you get, the more likely it is you'll get a bigger amount than if you hire an attorney with less experience who isn't as skilled as another attorney. So it's important a choice to make if you ever get injured. And again, if you want to reach Gary, text the word lawyer to 954-462-3300. He can help you. I know Gary for a long time. I have a lot of faith and confidence in him. So, Gary, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing with us what's going on with lawyers in the Florida bar. And, congratulations on a very successful presidency. As a lawyer, thank you for, your service and volunteering. I know it's a big undertaking to give up your time to help lawyers, have a better foundation and a better organization to the Florida bar to make sure that it's as successful as possible.
Well, thank you, Keith. It was good service. It was a lot of work, but I was happy to do it. And thanks for having me on air today. And thanks for the great work that you do. And I will look forward to speaking with you soon.
Well, Keith, Gary sounds like just a fantastic